Under the golden African sun, in a land of endless plains, tall acacia trees, and rivers that glistened like silver, the animals of the savannah gathered for a celebration. They traveled from far and wide, from elephants and giraffes to antelopes and zebras. All came to witness the birth of a new heir to the throne of the Pride Lands. At the peak of Pride Rock, the wise mandrill Rafiki lifted a small lion cub high into the sky. His name was Simba, son of King Mufasa and Queen Sarabi. The air filled with cheers and roars, and the circle of life welcomed its future king. As Simba grew, he became a lively and adventurous cub. He looked up to his father, Mufasa, with eyes full of admiration. Mufasa was not only strong, but also wise and kind. He ruled with fairness, teaching Simba important lessons about leadership, courage, and respect for all creatures. One morning, Mufasa took Simba to the top of Pride Rock and said, "Look, Simba, everything the light touches is our kingdom. A king's time as ruler rises and falls like the sun. One day, the sun will set on me and rise with you as the new king." Simba's heart swelled with pride, dreaming of the day he would rule. But in the shadows lurked Scar, Mufasa's younger brother. Scar was bitter, jealous, and consumed by envy. He believed he deserved the throne. While Mufasa embodied strength and honor, Scar was cunning and deceitful. Though he hid his true feelings behind a smooth voice and sly smile, deep inside he plotted against both Mufasa and Simba. Scar began planting seeds of danger in Simba's young mind. He mentioned a place where Simba was forbidden to go, the Elephant Graveyard, a dark and eerie land filled with the bones of giants. Curiosity burned inside Simba, and when his friend Nala agreed to explore, the two cubs slipped away, with Zazu, the hornbill and royal advisor, following reluctantly behind. They ventured into the graveyard. There, the shadows came alive with snarling hyenas Shenzi, Bonsai, and Ed. They cornered the cubs, hunger flashing in their eyes. Just as the hyenas prepared to strike, Mufasa arrived in a thunderous roar, scattering them. His strength was unmatched, but after the danger passed, Mufasa's tone softened. He reminded Simba that bravery is not about recklessness, it is about knowing when to act and when to avoid danger. Despite this warning, Scar's scheme continued to unfold. He convinced the hyenas to join his plan to seize power. One fateful day, he lured Simba into a gorge, telling him Mufasa had a surprise prepared. As Simba waited, Scar signaled the hyenas, and suddenly a massive wildebeest stampede rushed into the valley. Simba clung desperately to a small tree, calling for help. Mufasa charged into the chaos, fighting his way through the stampede to save his son. With immense effort, he lifted Simba to safety on a ledge. Exhausted, Mufasa tried to climb out himself, reaching for the top. Scar appeared above him. For a brief moment, Mufasa's eyes pleaded for help, but Scar whispered the words that sealed his betrayal. "Long live the king!" With a cruel shove, he let Mufasa fall to his death beneath the thundering hooves. Simba, horrified, rushed to his father's still body after the stampede ended. Scar approached him with false sympathy and whispered lies into the young cub's ear. "What have you done, Simba? Your father is dead because of you. If not for your reckless actions, he would still be alive. What will your mother think? What will the kingdom think?" Broken with guilt and fear, Simba fled into the wilderness. Scar sent the hyenas to finish the cub off, but Simba escaped into the desert, collapsing under the scorching sun. When all seemed lost, two unlikely creatures appeared: Timon, a carefree meerkat, and Pumbaa, a warm-hearted warthog. They found Simba weak and thirsty. Instead of leaving him, they took him in, teaching him a new way of life. Their motto was Hakuna Matata, meaning no worries. To them, the past did not matter. Life was about enjoying each day, eating grubs, swimming in rivers, and singing under the stars. With them, Simba grew into a strong lion, but deep in his heart, he carried an unspoken sorrow and the burden of guilt over his father's death. Meanwhile, under Scar's rule, the Pride Lands fell into ruin. Scar allowed the hyenas to overrun the kingdom, devouring more than the land could provide. The once fertile plains became dry and lifeless. Prey animals vanished, water grew scarce, and despair settled over Pride Rock. Sarabi and the lionesses grew weaker, but Scar ruled with fear, silencing all who opposed him. Years passed until destiny intervened. Nala, Simba's childhood friend, left the Pride Lands in search of help. By chance, she stumbled upon Simba in the jungle. Overjoyed to see him alive, she begged him to return. "The Pride Lands are dying," she pleaded. "We need you. You are the true king." But Simba, chained by guilt, refused. He believed he was the cause of Mufasa's death and could not face his past. That night, Rafiki appeared to Simba, carrying his staff and speaking in riddles. He led Simba to a pool of water, urging him to look within. At first, Simba saw only his reflection, but then, in the clouds above, the spirit of Mufasa appeared. "Simba," the great king's voice thundered, "you have forgotten me. Look inside yourself. You are more than what you have become. Remember who you are. You are my son and the one true king." The vision vanished, but its power awakened Simba's courage. At last, he realized he could not run forever. His destiny awaited. With determination burning in his heart, Simba journeyed back to Pride Rock. The land was worse than he imagined. Cracked earth, dry skies, and starving animals. Scar stood arrogantly atop the rock, surrounded by his hyena army. When Simba appeared, Scar was stunned. At first, the lionesses could hardly believe their eyes, but hope flickered in their hearts. Scar mocked Simba, pressing him about his past. "Tell them, Simba," he sneered. "Tell them who is truly responsible for Mufasa's death." Scar forced Simba to the edge of Pride Rock, just as he had done to Mufasa. Whispering so only Simba could hear, he revealed the terrible truth. "I killed Mufasa." Rage and clarity surged through Simba. He pounced on Scar, forcing him to confess the truth before all the lions. A mighty battle erupted. Lions fought hyenas, claws and teeth flashing under a stormy sky. Lightning struck, setting fire to the dry grass, and flames spread wildly. Amid the chaos, Simba and Scar faced each other in a final duel. Scar begged for mercy, claiming it was all the hyena's fault. Simba, showing mercy, spared his life, but banished him from the Pride Lands. Scar, treacherous as ever, tried to attack Simba again. This time, Simba defended himself, and Scar fell from the heights of Pride Rock into the jaws of the hyenas, who turned on him for betraying them. As rain poured down, extinguishing the fire and cleansing the land, Simba climbed to the very top of Pride Rock. With his mother, Nala, Rafiki, Timon, Pumbaa, and all the animals watching, he let out a thunderous roar. His voice echoed across the savannah, declaring the return of the rightful king. The skies cleared, the rains nourished the earth, and life slowly returned to the Pride Lands. Time passed, and the kingdom flourished again. Green grass covered the plains, rivers flowed, and animals thrived. Simba ruled with wisdom, compassion, and strength, guided by the lessons of his father. Together with Nala, he raised a cub of his own. Once again, Rafiki lifted the young heir high into the sky as the animals bowed in respect. The circle of life continued, unbroken. From a playful cub to a lost wanderer, and finally a wise king, Simba's journey reminds us that true strength comes not from running away from the past, but from facing it with courage. His story is one of loss, redemption, and destiny, a timeless tale of the Lion King.